The spoon clinked gently against Gloria's plate, the only sound in the dining room besides the faint buzz of a refrigerator that needed defrosting. She chewed slowly, eyes focused on her peas, while Tessa tapped through her phone at the other end of the table. Nick nodded along to some half-story Evan was mumbling about track tryouts, his voice flat with teenage disinterest. Gloria had made the mistake of complimenting the casserole earlier. Tessa hadn't cooked it. It was from a foil tray. The label from the grocery deli still peeked out from the trash when Gloria had arrived. "You know," Tessa had said, with that clipped, breezy tone she used when pretending to be generous, "you don't have to come every week." "We're fine," Gloria had nodded. Of course, that's not why she came. She came for Lily, who wasn't home tonight. Art club ran late. Tessa hadn't bothered to tell her that before she arrived. She placed her fork down gently and folded her napkin over her plate, even though no one else at the table had bothered. "Thanks for dinner," she said. Tessa didn't look up. "Mm-hmm." Back home, Gloria double-locked the door, slipped off her shoes, and turned on the soft lamp by the couch. Her apartment smelled of lemon cleaner and something faintly floral, her own piece, curated carefully, away from the chaos she'd spent years surviving. She took her time with her routine. First, a glass of water, then her pill organizer, Wednesday's row, and finally, the drops. She opened the fridge, reached for the small brown bottle marked with her name and the date of surgery. Ciprofloxacin. Antibiotic. Twice daily. She unscrewed the cap, tilted her head, one drop in the left eye, then the right. The pain was instant. It wasn't sharp. It swelled. A deep, raw sting that punched behind her eyeballs, hot and acidic, like someone had shoved vinegar under her lids. Gloria gasped, staggering back, hand flailing for the counter. The bottle slipped, clattered, rolled. Her eyes gushed tears, blinded. She knocked into the stool, caught herself on the kitchen sink. Everything burned. Her lashes clumped. Her vision went white, then black, then blurred with flashes of orange. She reached for the phone, missed it, tried again with trembling fingers. A knock pounded at her door. "Gloria," Eileen's voice, firm, worried. "Gloria, what's going on?" Gloria couldn't answer. She just fumbled the lock, yanking it open with shaking hands. Eileen stepped in fast, no hesitation, in slippers and a robe. Gloria pointed, her mouth barely moving. "The drops! Something's wrong." Eileen was already by the sink, snatching a towel, guiding Gloria gently to sit. Her nurse instincts kicked in with practiced calm. "Eyes open," she said softly. "Let's flush this." The tap ran cold. Eileen cupped water into her hand and poured it gently over Gloria's swollen lids. Over and over, Gloria trembled, her breathing ragged. It felt like acid. "I know, honey. I know." Eileen found the bottle, sniffed it. "Doesn't smell like meds," she muttered, then froze, turned it toward the light. The label was intact, but the contents, completely clear, too clear. The next morning, sunlight poured over Gloria's kitchen table, warm and deceitful. Her phone buzzed against the counter, a text from Tessa. "Oops, just salt water. It's not that serious." Chill. Gloria stared at the screen, her thumb hovering over it. Her eyes were still tender, puffy, red-rimmed. She didn't respond. Instead, she reached for a pen, opened her notebook. At the top of the page, she wrote the date. May 17th, incident log begins. She looked out the window. The neighbor's dog barked at a squirrel. Somewhere down the street, a lawnmower hummed. But inside her apartment, it was still. Tessa had wanted a reaction, maybe a slap on the wrist, maybe a guilt trip. She wasn't going to get either. Gloria pressed the pen down harder, wrote another line under the first. Pain level 8, vision blurred, sleep interrupted, no apology received. She closed the notebook. Her phone buzzed again. This time, she didn't even glance. Instead, she reached into the drawer beside her files, pulled out an envelope marked, "Will, last updated 2016. She tapped it once against the counter, then whispered to herself, firm, quiet, and cold. Not that serious? She opened the envelope and began to read. Gloria sat beneath the buzzing fluorescent light of urgent care, hands folded neatly in her lap, a tissue clutched loosely between her fingers. Her eyes were still glassy, one more than the other, the edges ringed with red as if she'd cried. But she hadn't. She didn't cry when it hurt. She recorded. Eileen sat beside her in the waiting room chair, arms crossed tight over her windbreaker. The room smelled faintly of disinfectant and cinnamon air freshener, a strange combination that made the whole place feel like it couldn't decide between clean and comforting. A nurse stepped into the doorway, holding a clipboard. Gloria Madsen. Eileen stood first. That's us, the nurse smiled professionally. Come on back. Gloria moved slowly but with purpose, refusing help as she rose. Her steps were measured, as if any faltering might give someone the impression she was fragile. She wasn't, just in pain. In the small exam room, the nurse applied drops of fluorescent stain and flicked on the blue slit lamp. She leaned in, brows knitting. Gloria sat motionless. What is it? Eileen asked from the corner. The nurse adjusted the lamp. You've got visible irritation on both corneas. Surface scratches, especially in the left eye. Gloria didn't flinch. From saline? The nurse glanced back at her. Was it homemade? No, Gloria said softly. It was swapped in. The nurse hesitated, then scribbled something on her chart. She cleared her throat. Well, it definitely wasn't sterile. We're seeing some mild abrasions and inflammation, which lines up with chemical exposure. Not severe enough to cause permanent damage, but enough to hurt, Eileen finished. The nurse gave a nod. Absolutely. Gloria leaned forward slightly. Can you write that down? The nurse blinked. The saline exposure? All of it. In the report, a small pause. Then the nurse nodded. Of course. She left the room to retrieve discharge papers. Eileen turned to her, arms loosening. That'll matter, you know. Gloria nodded. I do. Back at home, Gloria sat at her desk, the urgent care folder open carefully beside her notebook. She wore a soft ice pack over her forehead, the kind you strap in place with Velcro. It pressed gently between her brows and helped with the throbbing. Eileen was in the kitchen steeping tea. You sure you don't want me to stay the night? I've survived worse, Gloria murmured. But thank you. She picked up her pen and flipped to a fresh page in the log. May 18th, medical visit diagnosis. Corneal irritation, foreign saline exposure. Pain level, 6. Redness still visible. Advised follow-up in 3 days. Copy of chart obtained. She paused, then added, primary suspect acknowledged swap via text. No remorse. The kettle clicked. Steam hissed. Her phone buzzed. A message. From Tessa. She didn't open it right away. She already knew the tone, the way it would shift from indifference to mockery in 3 words or less. Still, she tapped the preview. Tessa. Can't take a joke. Attached image. A stock meme of a grandma wrapped in gauze with sunglasses. Captioned, me after someone breathes wrong. Eileen walked in and placed the tea next to her. More texts. Gloria didn't answer. She just reached for the printer on the shelf, scanned the medical chart, saved it to her cloud drive, then printed a hard copy and slid it into a folder labeled in careful handwriting. Evidence. TM incident. She pressed her finger against the label. Let it rest there. Next time, Eileen said quietly, don't wait until it hurts to fight back. Gloria looked up. Her voice was calm, certain. I didn't wait. I just started with the truth. That night, she laid the file beside her bed. Didn't shelve it. Not yet. Somewhere in the hallway, a floorboard creaked. The heater clicked. Outside, wind brushed across the window. Her phone buzzed one last time. Another message from Tessa. No words this time, just a GIF of someone crying dramatically into a tissue. Gloria stared at it, let it loop once, then hit Save Image. She filed that too. The manila folder sat where she'd left it. Bottom drawer, second file cabinet, tucked between home insurance and Lily's art show programs. Gloria pulled it out gently, like exhuming something sacred or shameful. Maybe both. She carried it to the kitchen table and laid it down. The tab was labeled in her handwriting, all caps, Will and Estate. She opened it. First page, the 2016 revision. Still crisp. Still signed in blue ink. Still listing Tessa Madsen as executor and sole beneficiary. Her own name, Gloria Ann Madsen, printed just above a block of legalese that once made her feel secure. She flipped to the notes section. There it was. The justification she'd scrawled in neat cursive 6 years ago. I trust Tessa to carry out my wishes. She knows my values. Family matters most. Gloria stared at the sentence like it had been written by a stranger. She turned to the older versions, 2007, 1999, even a draft from 1985 that listed Harold, long dead, as executor. She studied the margins, the revisions. Every version had one thing in common. Grace. Over and over, she'd forgiven. The time Tessa forgot to bring her medication after her hip surgery. The argument about the Christmas money that never made it into Lily's gift. The night Tessa said, "It's not like you were ever warm, Mom." Each slight, each dig, each erosion, followed by a rewrite, a softening, no more. Gloria reached for her pen, flipped back to the 2016 document, circled Tessa's name, wrote beside it in slow, unshaking strokes. Remove just then, Eileen's voice called from the back door. Front flower bed looks dry again. Want me to grab the hose? Gloria didn't look up. I'll water it later. Eileen stepped into the kitchen, brushing dirt from her gloves. Her eyes fell on the document. Going through the will, Gloria nodded. Eileen pulled up a chair. She's always expected you to take the hits and keep the doors open. I know. You going to do something different this time? Gloria didn't answer right away. She just slid the folder an inch closer to herself. Yes, she said. I am. Eileen smiled faintly. Good. That evening, as golden light slanted across the living room floor, Gloria sat with the folder still open beside her, flipping through a yellow legal pad where she'd started listing everything she wanted to revise. Executor, medical proxy, burial instructions, digital assets, power of attorney. Every word she wrote felt like a stitch, threading something torn back together. Her phone vibrated once, a new message. From Lily. Lily. Grandma, I just found out what happened. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I would have said something. I would have... Gloria stared at the text, then let her thumb rest on the screen for a beat. Then typed back, not your burden. She added a heart, not out of habit, but choice. Because she didn't want Lily confused in the crossfire. The girl deserved better than her mother's shadow. Gloria slid the phone away. Then, as if sealing something final, she clipped a sticky note to the top of the will. To be rewritten immediately, she placed the folder in her satchel. Not back in the cabinet. Tomorrow she would call. Someone new. Someone sharp. Someone who would help her do what needed to be done. No backpedaling, no softening. She looked at the wall clock. 8:37 p.m. She stared at the second hand ticking forward, then whispered, not angry, just clear. Next draft's mine. Matt Wynn's office was exactly what Gloria had hoped for. No mahogany grandeur. No leather furniture that groaned under self-importance. Just a single row of diplomas above a metal filing cabinet, a desk without clutter, and blinds that didn't try to hide the sun. The man behind the desk didn't wear a tie, didn't need one. He read without speaking, flipping slowly through the incident log she'd compiled. Photocopies, printed texts, the urgent care report, even a scan of the meme Tessa had sent. Every page was tabbed, numbered, labeled. Gloria sat still. Her ankles were crossed, hands folded over her purse. Not nervous, just firm. When Matt reached the final sheet, he set it down and tapped the corner once. "You've got her dead to rights," he said, voice even. "No criminal charge, maybe. But estate? That's yours to command," Gloria nodded. "Then I want her out." Fully and permanently, Matt looked up, met her eyes. He didn't blink. "Then we don't revise," he said. "We rebuild." He slid a clean yellow legal pad across the desk. "Irrevocable trust," he said, uncapping his pen. "We'll shelter your assets from contest. That includes your home, savings, bonds, any CDs or securities, vehicles, digital accounts, even your jewelry if you want." Gloria nodded again. "All of it. And we document the cause." She reached into her bag and handed him the urgent care printout. "Use this." And the messages, he skimmed it once more, then wrote a sharp line on his pad. "Cause for exclusion. Documented medical interference. Executor?" Matt asked. "Eileen Porter," Gloria replied, without pause. He nodded approvingly. "She'll need to sign, but I assume she'll do it without protest. She's already said so." "Successor?" Gloria paused. "Lily. If she's over 21. Otherwise—" None. Matt raised an eyebrow. "You don't trust her yet." "I don't trust the house she lives in," Gloria replied. "Fair enough." He wrote, "Education fund for Lily Madsen. Full access upon 21st birthday. No disbursement prior." Matt pushed his glasses up on the bridge of his nose. "We'll layer it thick. That way, even if your daughter tries to challenge, she'll run into a wall of wet cement. And the harder she pushes, the deeper she sinks." Gloria smiled faintly. "Good." By the time they were done, 2 folders had been filled. One marked draft in progress, the other signed receipts, originals only. Matt handed her a pen. "Prelim copy. We'll notarize final next week. This just locks intent." Gloria scrawled her name across the bottom in clean looping cursive. She watched the ink dry like it was sealing something old shut, something that had been left open far too long. Outside the office, the air smelled faintly of river water and car exhaust. Gloria stood under the awning for a moment before stepping fully into the sun. Her phone buzzed in her purse. A new voicemail from Tessa. She didn't open it. She didn't even listen. Instead, she slid the folders into her satchel and zipped it closed. Then she crossed the street to the copy shop and paid cash for 6 duplicates of every page Matt had drafted. 1 for the fireproof box, 1 for Eileen, 1 for her doctor, 3 to keep, just in case. That night, sitting at her desk in lamplight, Gloria pulled a single sheet of stationery from the drawer. She wrote in her best handwriting, "Lily, if you're reading this, it means I trusted you when the time came. Never let someone dim your instincts to preserve their own pride. I love you more than silence." "Grandma," she folded the note, slipped it into an envelope marked "to be given on her 21st birthday," then added it to a folder labeled Legacy, Personal Major. Twist number 1. Gloria signs a legally sealed irrevocable trust, fully cutting Tessa out and locking her legacy in stone. Matt's office smelled faintly of toner and fresh legal pads when Gloria walked in, dressed in a gray cardigan and low-heeled shoes that clicked quietly on the floor. She had combed her hair back into a simple bun, the kind her late husband used to call her battle braid. This wasn't a visit, it was an execution. Of paperwork, of legacy, of the lie that Tessa would always win by wearing her mother down. Eileen walked beside her, holding a canvas tote filled with labeled folders and a plastic water bottle. Her face was unreadable, but she stayed close, like a second shadow. Matt met them at the door with a slight smile. "We're ready when you are." The trust packet sat like a brick on the desk, thick, embossed notarization tabs already flagged. Matt didn't waste time. "This is the final copy," he said, flipping the top page. "Reviewed, double witnessed, state sealed. It supersedes all previous wills and is irrevocable. Meaning once you sign, it's locked." "Good," Gloria said simply. He continued, assets listed on page 5. Home, 401k, 2CDS, municipal bonds, savings account ending in 3091, Roth IRA, and the 2007 Buick. He paused. Your digital accounts, email, photo cloud, banking apps, are all included as intellectual property. They'll transfer under Eileen's executor authority. Eileen gave a small nod but said nothing. Matt flipped ahead. Exclusion clause begins on page 12. Gloria leaned forward. Her name came first, then Lily's. Then, in clean type, the words, excluded. Tessa Madsen. Cause for exclusion. Documented medical interference following ocular surgery. Sustained via confirmed third-party evidence and acknowledgement via digital correspondence. Beneficiary deemed unfit due to patterns of emotional endangerment and neglect. Gloria read it twice, then picked up the pen. She signed. Once on the trust itself. Again on the living will. A third time for power of attorney. And then, slowly, the burial preferences. Cremation, private service, executor discretion. Her hands didn't shake. Matt reached out, pressed the seal down on the final page. The metal crimp punched with a satisfying click. And just like that, the old framework of her life, the one that had allowed Tessa to keep wounding her without consequence, was gone. Back at home, Eileen stood by the dining table, helping Gloria organize the new documents into a fresh accordion binder. They labeled everything: estate, current, medical proxy, POA, original, emergency, Lily. The originals went into Gloria's fireproof safe. The copies went into Eileen's tote. They moved like nurses in triage. No wasted words. No second-guessing. Keep this one in the kitchen drawer, Eileen said, sliding over a copy of the DNR order. Easy access. Gloria nodded. Thank you for doing this. I didn't do it, Eileen replied. You did. After Eileen left, Gloria made herself a cup of black tea and pulled out the soft blue envelope she hadn't touched in years. It was addressed to Lily Madsen, in a curl of handwriting that hadn't changed much since her daughter was a child. Inside, 3 pages. A final legacy letter she'd written after Harold's death, but never updated. She'd meant it to be read at the funeral, whenever it came. She reread it now, eyes scanning each paragraph. It was full of memories. Sunday pancakes, gardening, the way Lily used to draw flowers on the backs of envelopes, the time she'd whispered to Gloria, "You're my safe person." She crossed out 2 full lines with a black pen. Give this to your mother. She'll explain what matters. Family is always worth bending for. Number, not anymore. She pulled out a fresh sheet of paper. Wrote in crisp block print, Lily, you don't owe kindness to people who call pain a joke. I'm leaving you everything because I trust your silence more than your mother's noise. Don't forgive her until she's earned it. And if she never does, that's okay too. Love, Grandma. She folded the new letter, slipped it into the old envelope, then sealed it shut. The photo had been filtered 3 times, one of those golden-hued presets that softened skin and blurred guilt. Tessa was posed just so on her front porch, mug in hand, mascara faintly smudged under one eye, like she'd been crying or wanted people to think she had. The caption read, "When a joke turns into a witch hunt, families should forgive, always." Just a prank. Overreaction. Still love her. By noon, Gloria's neighbor Debbie had texted her a screenshot of it. 3 others followed. Even Sandra from across the street, the one who still put up plastic deer at Christmas, had sent it with a single message. This isn't right. We're here if you need anything. Gloria didn't reply to any of them. She only stared at the screen, at Tessa's manipulative little performance, at the comment section, already filling with both pity and skepticism. So sorry, Tessa. People can be so dramatic. Wait, your mom's the one with the eye thing, right? If it was just a joke, why is she bleeding in her eye? The contradictions were starting to unravel. Good. Later, Matt's email came through. Short, clean. Don't respond. She's baiting you. Let her keep digging. Gloria closed the laptop. She walked to the hallway mirror and lifted her reading glasses to get a clear view. Her left eye was still red, the capillaries spidering out from the corner like a burst ink stain. The skin below both eyes was darkened, purple-gray. The puffiness had gone down, but only slightly. She picked up her phone and took 3 photos. No filter, no soft light. Just the damage, plain. She saved them to a folder titled Medical Visuals Post-Injury, then opened her notebook again. May 21st, follow-up with Dr. Lin. Notes: advised continuation of medicated drops. Confirmed visible inflammation. Pain level reduced. Vision stable. Photos taken. She flipped back to May 17th, reread her first entry, then underlined the words, "No apology received." The next morning, Gloria sat at the kitchen table with Eileen, who was buttering toast like she was preparing for war. "She's turning it into a public sympathy show," Gloria said flatly. Eileen snorted. She always did have a flair for martyrdom. "She's banking on me responding emotionally." "You're not going to," Eileen replied, sliding the toast onto a plate. "You already responded legally." Gloria smiled faintly. Still satisfying to know it bothers her. Eileen opened her phone, then held it out. "I posted this just now," she said. The screen showed a plain text post against a white background. No photo, no hashtags. Just a single sentence. "Elders aren't props for your redemption arc." The reactions were already pouring in. Gloria raised an eyebrow. "That'll ruffle feathers." "Good," Eileen replied. "Let the feathers fly." "I'm too old to pretend I'm fine when I'm furious." That afternoon, Gloria returned to her doctor for a second evaluation. Dr. Lin was as professional as ever, but there was a slight edge in her voice this time. A note of protective concern. "Do you want me to write a formal medical affidavit?" she asked, after confirming the abrasions were healing but still visible. Gloria paused, then nodded. "Yes, include everything." Dr. Lin nodded once. "You're not the first patient to sit in that chair with tears they didn't cause, but you're the first to take notes the entire time." "Pain makes some people cry," Gloria said. "It makes me record." When she got home, the affidavit went straight into the binder, slotted into a new section labeled Supporting Documents, Verified Medical. She stared at it for a long moment, then added one more folder tab. If she sues, she didn't expect Tessa to do it, but she wouldn't put it past her either. The waiting room at Dr. Kim's neurology office was painted a neutral beige, the kind that made time feel slower. Gloria sat with her back straight, cardigan buttoned at the top, purse tucked neatly at her feet. The woman beside her scrolled through TikToks without earbuds. Gloria ignored the sharp bursts of audio. She was here for one reason, not to prove she remembered, to prove she hadn't forgotten. "Ms. Madsen," the receptionist called. She rose calmly, no stumble, no hesitation. The evaluation took just under an hour. Orientation, recall, problem-solving, timed pattern recognition. Gloria answered each prompt without flinching, pausing only to ask the nurse to repeat a question. Not because she hadn't heard it, but because it was poorly phrased. When Dr. Kim re-entered with a clipboard and a kind smile, Gloria didn't blink. "Your cognitive scores are excellent, Ms. Madsen." Above average in memory retention and executive function, Gloria nodded once. "Would you like a copy of the results?" Dr. Kim offered. "Yes." 2 copies, Gloria said. 1 digital, 1 printed. Dr. Kim paused a beat, then smiled. "Of course." Back home, Gloria ran the scanner with practiced hands. She slid the report into the estate binder beneath a new tab she'd added that morning. Capacity verification. Legal. Then she sat down at her desk, opened her leather-bound journal, and turned to a blank page. She dated it in clean script. May 23rd, 11:18 a.m., she wrote, "Let no one suggest I've been confused. I have remembered more than I've admitted. I have chosen silence, not forgotten reality. I remember everything. So will they. She closed the journal and rested her palm on the cover for a long moment, as if sealing something in. That afternoon, the doorbell rang. Gloria looked through the peephole before opening it. The face on the other side wasn't threatening. It was cautious. Lily stood on the porch holding a foil-covered tray, her eyes rimmed pink but dry now. "Brownies," she said. "Come in," Gloria replied. They sat in the kitchen, sunlight slanting through the blinds in perfect lines across the table. Lily fiddled with the edge of her hoodie sleeve. "I didn't know," she said finally. "About the drops." Mom didn't say anything until it was already online. Gloria looked at her evenly. "You don't have to defend her." "I'm not," Lily's voice cracked. I didn't say anything to you, either, and I should have." There was a silence that wasn't awkward, just necessary. Then Gloria spoke, quiet but even. "It wasn't your fault, but yes, I'm cutting her out." Lily nodded, staring down at the brownies. "You're not cutting me, are you?" she asked, her voice suddenly small. Gloria reached out, touched her hand. "You're the only part I'm keeping." Lily blinked fast. "I didn't even make them from scratch," she admitted. "They're from a box." "They're perfect," Gloria said, breaking one in half. Just like this moment. They sat there a while longer, sharing the silence, eating boxed brownies with paper napkins, the air soft and strangely safe. After Lily left, Gloria returned to her desk. She added a second copy of the capacity evaluation to the envelope labeled, "For Matt, Defense Materials." Then she glanced at the clock, 5:42 p.m. The sun was still up, but the shadows were longer. Her phone buzzed once. A message from Matt. "She's asked to see the documents. I declined. Told her she's not named. You might get backlash." Gloria stared at the screen, then typed back 2 words. "Let her." She stood, walked to the window, and opened it just enough to let the wind through. The breeze caught the edge of her journal, rustling the pages. She didn't close it. She let it breathe. Because the truth now was no longer just hers. Gloria heard the knock before she saw the car. 3 short raps, polite, deliberate. The kind that announced, "I'm not here to fight. Just to pretend I'm not the kind of person who would poison your eyes with salt water." She didn't open the door right away. Instead, she reached for the slim recorder tucked in the drawer beside the phone, pressed the red button. A small beep confirmed it was rolling. She set it down on the sideboard, angled toward the front door. Then she smoothed the front of her cardigan, walked over, and turned the knob. Tessa stood there, lip gloss neat, sweater draped just so over one shoulder, like she'd dressed for brunch instead of reconciliation. "Hi, Mom," she said with a smile far too wide. Gloria kept her own face neutral. "Tessa." Tessa held up a paper bag like a peace offering. "Lavender tea. Your favorite." "Thought we could talk." Gloria stepped aside wordlessly. Tessa walked in like she owned the place, eyes grazing the hallway, the shelves, the subtle changes. She sniffed the air. "You've rearranged," she said. "Some things needed a shift," Gloria replied. They moved into the kitchen. The satchel on the counter had a corner of a file sticking out. Deliberately so. Gloria didn't touch it. Tessa placed the bag of tea on the table and pulled out a chair. "Saturday. I've been thinking," she began, tone syrupy. "I might have gone too far. The salt water thing. It wasn't meant to hurt you. It was just a joke," Gloria finished. Tessa blinked, then smiled again. "Right. And I think it's time we just put it all behind us. Water under the bridge, yeah?" From the hallway, a voice cut in, sharp and clear. "It's not." Tessa's head whipped around. Eileen stood in the doorway, arms folded, a tea towel slung over one shoulder. Her presence was casual. Her stare was not. Tessa's smile slipped. "I didn't realize you had company." "I live next door," Eileen said evenly. "Sometimes I help with organizing. Sometimes I just listen." Gloria sat down across from Tessa, letting the silence fill the space, like steam from a kettle. Tessa's fingers tapped once against the paper bag. You know, people are starting to talk. That post was misunderstood. I wasn't trying to throw you under the bus. I was just... You were framing yourself as the victim, Gloria said, and I let the post sit. I didn't correct you. Tessa looked confused for a moment. Wait, are you saying you agree? I'm saying, Gloria interrupted, that I let you show people who you are. I just chose not to explain who I am in return. There was a pause. And in that pause, Tessa's eyes flicked, just briefly, to the corner of the file still visible in the satchel on the counter. She stood suddenly. You know what? Maybe this was a mistake. I came to make peace, not be cornered. She walked toward the door, but not before her hand brushed the edge of the satchel. Quick, casual, like someone adjusting clutter. The file slipped. Gloria's hand moved faster. She grabbed it before Tessa could. That doesn't belong to you. Tessa froze. Eileen stepped forward. She'll try again. Gloria nodded. I know. Tessa's voice pitched higher. Is this how you treat your only daughter? Do you even know what you're doing? I know exactly what I'm doing, Gloria said calmly. And now, so do you, Tessa huffed. This is sick, Mom. You think you're punishing me, but you're just making a scene. Eileen opened the door. Scene's over. Time to go. Tessa hesitated, then stormed out, muttering something Gloria didn't bother to hear. When the door clicked shut, Gloria reached for the recorder, stopped it, played it back. The audio was crystal clear. Every word. That evening, she uploaded the file to her encrypted cloud folder. Labeled it, voice recording, May 24 visit, verbal coercion attempt. Then she texted Matt. Have the file. She tried to grab my documents. His reply came instantly. That'll hold up. Upload to my archive. She did. Then she added a final note to her log. They always accuse you of making drama once they realize you're recording the truth. Major twist number 2, Tessa is officially shut out. Legally, digitally, publicly. The envelope was heavier than it should have been. Gloria held it at the edge of her desk, fingertips grazing the seal. Matt's return address in the corner was small, precise, like everything he did. Inside, a formal letter, notarized, signed, copied to all necessary offices. She opened it carefully, unfolding the page with the quiet reverence of someone handling a verdict. As of May 25, 2025, the estate of Gloria A. Madsen is legally sealed and classified as private. Any attempt to contest or access this estate, either in whole or part, must be conducted through official probate channels. The executor is not required to provide notification to excluded parties. At the bottom, Matt Wynn's signature, crisp and final. She pressed the page flat, then scanned it, added it to the folder marked Estate, Finalized, Locked. It took her 3 hours to finish what came next. Every online account, every banking login, every cloud app and device access point. Gloria changed every password one by one, documenting them into her own secure vault. Each was renamed with something she would remember but no one could guess. Her first library barcode. The name of Eileen's long-dead cat, a lyric from a song Harold hated. Then she added 2-factor authentication. Primary, her flip phone. Backup, Eileen's landline. No email recovery. No questions like, what's your daughter's middle name? Because that answer was no longer valid. She finished with a deep exhale and closed her laptop. Security, for once, didn't feel like paranoia. It felt like peace. At the clinic the next morning, she signed one more form at the reception counter, authorizing her medical health proxy. Primary contact, the nurse asked. Eileen Porter, Gloria said. Secondary? Matt Wynn. The nurse looked up, surprised. Your attorney? Gloria smiled. He answers the phone. That's all I need by the time she walked out of the clinic. Her choices were filed in 3 systems, certified and time-stamped. The attack came by noon. Not legal, digital. Tessa's latest Facebook post was long, meandering, and full of veiled bitterness. It's funny how some parents rewrite the past when it suits them. Like I haven't been there for every appointment, every casserole, every forgotten birthday I still showed up for. Some people are so obsessed with boundaries, they forget what love looks like. I tried. I really did. But sometimes toxic runs one way, and it's upstream. The comments piled in fast. Ugh, family drama is the worst. You're doing your best, Tess. Don't let the bitterness spread, sending hugs. Some moms never grow out of being petty, but not everyone swallowed it. Near the bottom of the thread, just 4 lines down, a new comment appeared. Lily Madsen. Some people just want peace. That's not bitterness. That's survival. No emojis. No tone softening. Just truth, laid out bare. It got 20 likes in an hour. At 4:32 p.m., the doorbell rang. Gloria opened the door and found a bouquet. Tall white lilies, soft pink carnations, a single spray of baby's breath. No card, no delivery slip, no message, just a glass vase and a silence she didn't trust. She brought them inside, stared at them for a long minute, then gently lifted the arrangement from the vase, walked to the trash bin, and upended the entire thing. The stems hit the plastic bag with a dull thud. She didn't flinch. She washed the vase in the sink with hot water and lemon soap until it squeaked clean, then set it upside down to dry. That night, she opened her journal. May 25th, 8:03 p.m. She's out. Every key, every folder, every account. The locks have changed, and she's holding a skeleton key to a door that no longer exists. As she closed the journal, a ping sounded on her computer. A new email from an address she didn't recognize. Subject line, "Let's talk before this gets worse." She stared at it, didn't open it, but she didn't delete it either. She just marked it, potential escalation, and logged it in the file. The conference room was sterile and windowless, tucked behind a probate clerk's office that smelled faintly of toner and lemon disinfectant. Fluorescent lights buzzed faintly above, and the table was too shiny, like it had been wiped too many times for conversations that went nowhere. But this one was going somewhere. Matt opened his briefcase with the same slow efficiency Gloria had come to expect. No fanfare, no theatrics, just documents, stamped, indexed, final. He pulled out a thick packet, color-coded tabs down one side, and laid it in front of the probate officer. Exhibit A, he said, cognitive capacity test, administered by a state-licensed neurologist. Above average scores, time-stamped. He laid another, Exhibit B, incident log, medical records, text message screenshots, printouts from the daughter's social media account, each entry cross-referenced by date, another. Exhibit C, witness affidavits, one from a licensed nurse with 40 years of patient care, another from a notary present during the estate changes. Both confirm Ms. Madsen acted without influence. He looked up calmly. All properly filed. All notarized. The clerk glanced toward the opposing chair. It was empty. Tessa hadn't shown, but her name was still on the docket. Petitioner Tessa Madsen. Motion. Temporary injunction to pause execution of estate on grounds of mental decline and undue influence. Matt pushed the final folder forward. Respondent respectfully. Request dismissal with prejudice. The clerk didn't take long. Case closed. Back home, Gloria stood at the kitchen counter slicing apples for a tart she'd promised to try from Eileen's recipe. Her hands moved with the steady rhythm of someone who'd waited too long to feel this calm. Her phone buzzed on the counter. She checked it. Not a text. A push notification from a Facebook group she hadn't joined but sometimes watched. Tessa had posted again. This time it wasn't polished. A crying selfie, makeup smudged, lighting poor, captioned in shaky font. When your own mother turns into a stranger. I just wanted a conversation. I didn't ask for this. Some people really let lawyers replace love. But the responses weren't the flood of comfort she expected. Instead, the tide had turned. Didn't you literally admit to swapping her eye medication? This is so manipulative. If my mom cut me out for no reason, I'd be quiet out of shame. We get it, you didn't get the money, move on. Gloria scrolled once, then twice, then stopped. Jeremy's name, Tessa's husband, had vanished from her tagged photos. His account, deleted. So had his Twitter, Instagram. Even his Reddit handle, gone. By evening, Eileen had let herself in through the back like always, arms full of groceries and 2 warm trays wrapped in foil. I baked, she said flatly. The oven needed something decent in it. She set 1 tray down, peeled back the corner, and revealed rows of perfect shortbread cookies, each one pressed with a little fork mark. The clerk called, Eileen added, eyes sparkling. Said the case was tossed out like a week-old tuna salad, didn't even make it to deliberation. Gloria lifted 1 cookie, took a bite, buttery, crisp, slightly warm. Eileen grinned. That sound you hear? She tapped the counter once, then mimed a heavy door slamming shut. That's the sound of doors closing. Gloria smiled, not wide, but deep. And for the first time in weeks, it reached her eyes. Later that night, she opened her journal again. May 26th, 10:02 p.m. She tried to make me look unstable. I showed her what stability actually looks like. She turned off her lamp, folded her robe over the back of the chair, and made her way to bed. Just as she pulled the covers over her shoulder, her phone lit up one more time. A new message from a number she didn't recognize. The preview line read, "You really don't want to go to court with what I know." Gloria's finger hovered over it. Then she pressed screenshot, filed it under threats, documented. She turned the phone face down and slept. The pen didn't shake in Gloria's hand, not when she filled out the first form, not when the receptionist handed her the second. Clinic number 1, internal medicine. Clinic number 2, ophthalmology. 2 different health networks. Same instruction. This patient has chosen to restrict access to SUBU, their records and treatment status from the following individual, Tessa Madsen. The receptionist at the ophthalmology desk hesitated. Are you sure you want this to be permanent? Gloria nodded. Yes. Okay. You'll need to initial here and sign again below. She did. With every stroke of the pen, it felt less like protection and more like truth being carved in ink. She was done waiting to be harmed in rooms she couldn't see. Matt's office sent the final version of the clause 2 hours later. Subject: Final addendum, trust revision. Attachment: disinheritance clause, final.pdf. She opened it in preview, scanned for the section that mattered most. There it was. The beneficiary, known as Tessa Madsen, shall remain legally and irrevocably excluded from any future, residual, or reassigned claims to the estate, regardless of the disposition or incapacitation of other listed parties. This clause shall supersede all familial default claims, including as next of kin under medical or legal assumption. It was worded like concrete. Even Tessa, with her sharpened nails and weaponized pity, couldn't dig through that wall. Gloria clicked print, then clicked save, then forwarded it to Eileen, subject line, locked. That evening, the mail arrived with a formal envelope marked Trust Notification, Educational Beneficiary Lily's name, typed clean in the center. Gloria placed it gently in a pale blue folder with the girl's name in gold marker, a soft human touch in a sea of law and procedure. Then she texted Lily, "You might get a letter today. No rush. Just know you earned every line inside it." 15 minutes later, the reply came in blurry, hastily typed words. "Grandma, I'm crying. I don't deserve this. I love you so much." Gloria read it twice, then whispered, "Yes, you do." Eileen arrived with leftover soup and a new set of labels for Gloria's binder tabs. The kitchen table had become a command center. Manila folders, sealed envelopes, pens with ink half gone. Eileen peeled back the lid on the soup and handed Gloria a spoon. Matt said the clause was airtight. Gloria nodded. She can't touch a cent. Eileen sat down across from her. You built this so she can't tear it down. Gloria stirred her soup slowly, then looked up steady. Exactly. There was no triumph in her voice, only precision, only peace. That night, Gloria wrote in her journal, May 27th, 9:46 p.m. I'm tired, but not weak. There's a difference. Weakness lets you endure what breaks you. Tiredness makes you repair it before it breaks again. She set the journal down and clicked her desk lamp off. In the soft dark of her bedroom, the sound of rain started. Just gentle enough to soothe, just loud enough to remind her of walls that kept storms out. Her phone buzzed once. She checked the screen. Not Tessa. A message from an unknown email address. So you really meant it. Got it, no threat this time. No attempt at apology either. Just the sound of someone realizing the door wasn't just closed. It was sealed. And Gloria? She slept with the window cracked open, because finally, the wind couldn't reach her anymore. The morning air held that early summer stillness, sunlight sharp on the lawn, but not yet cruel. Gloria knelt at the edge of the flower bed, hands in cool soil, pressing the roots of a young sage plant into place. A mourning dove called from somewhere near the fence. She didn't answer. This was her favorite part, the silence before the neighborhood woke, before coffee machines hissed and radios bled through screen doors. A garden was a kind of honesty. Plants didn't manipulate. They wilted when neglected. They bloomed when fed. No guessing, no games. She wiped her palms on her apron and stood, slowly but steadily. Her knees creaked, but nothing gave. Not today. By 10:08 a.m., Matt's name popped up on her caller ID. Everything's finalized, he said. The trust is filed. The will's registered. Appeal window passed. And no challenge, she asked, though she already knew. No attempt, he confirmed, which means she either got smart or she's still. Stewing Gloria allowed herself a breath that wasn't quite relief, but close. Thank you, Matt. Anytime, he said. You did this the right way, on record, on time, no gaps. She didn't say anything else. She didn't need to. An hour later, Eileen let herself in with a knock that didn't wait for permission. In her arms, a smooth wooden box with polished brass hinges. She set it on the kitchen table. I had this made, she said, pushing her sunglasses onto her head. It's walnut. Local. Guy carves memory boxes. But I asked him to make something practical instead. Gloria opened the lid. Inside, labeled envelopes, a flash drive, a smaller velvet pouch for her rings, and a single white binder with one phrase burned into its spine. Final affairs, signed. Gloria traced the words with her finger. Eileen poured 2 glasses of cold tea and sat. You don't owe her anything, she said quietly, but you gave yourself everything. Gloria didn't look up. That's what matters. After lunch, Gloria pulled an old photo album from the shelf. She flipped through slowly until she found the one she'd been thinking about for days. A picture of her and Maya, taken in the university library in 1994. Both of them in sweaters, hair tucked behind ears. Maya was holding up a banned book like it was a medal. Gloria had a half smile, halfway through a laugh. They hadn't spoken in years. Not since Maya had moved to Michigan, but the love hadn't faded. She took a photo of the photo with her phone, texted it without a caption. 15 minutes later, 3 words came back. I remember everything. Gloria smiled. Me too. That afternoon, she met with the funeral home director, a quiet man, efficient. Closed list, she said. I'll provide the names. No obituary in the paper? She paused, then shook her head. Digital only. I'll write it myself. He handed her a blank worksheet. She filled in the preferences with ease. Cremation. Ashes to be scattered in her backyard. No open casket. No hymns. And then the line. Survived by her cherished granddaughter. No one else. No daughter. No need to explain. That evening, Gloria sat at her desk and opened her journal. May 28th. 7:26 p.m. I keep waiting to feel guilt, or grief, or fear that I'll change my mind. But what I feel is steadiness, the kind that settles in your bones when you stop begging for someone else to see you clearly. I don't regret cutting her out. I regret waiting so long to stop making room for her. She closed the journal, looked around her house, clean, labeled, calm. Then her phone buzzed. A voicemail, no number. She played it. It was Tessa, no rage, just a voice thin with defeat. I guess I finally lost. You win. Hope it feels good. Gloria hit save message, then whispered, not cruel, not gloating, just done. It's not about winning. It's about being free. And then she got up and watered the sage. Major twist number 3. The final plea arrives. Gloria strengthens the trust one last time. Lily named as successor. Tessa? Denied. The envelope was hand-addressed. No return label. Just Gloria's name in a curl of cursive she recognized too well. Tessa's. Written with the same false grace she used in thank you notes and pity posts. It had no postage stamp. Dropped off in person. Eileen found it wedged into the screen door mid-morning and handed it over with a single word. Decide. Gloria didn't open it right away. She made tea, sat at the table, let the envelope rest untouched beside the spoon like a riddle she no longer needed to solve, but still wanted to hear aloud. Then finally, with deliberate calm, she slid it open. The letter inside was 5 pages. It began how Tessa always began, with herself. Greater than I've been thinking about everything, about how things escalated, about how maybe you felt cornered. I was just trying to lighten the mood. You always took things too seriously, Mom. She read the second page slowly. Greater than I didn't mean to hurt you. Not really. You've always been dramatic about pain. Maybe that's where Lily gets it. The third page. Longer, loopier. I didn't realize how badly you wanted to cut me out. Not just from the money, whatever, I don't even care, but from your life. That stings. I know I wasn't perfect, but you weren't either. Remember when you missed my piano recital? Or how you told me Harold only stayed for my sake? She paused. Her throat didn't tighten. Her hand didn't shake. Page 4. Greater than I'm sorry if I made you feel unsafe. That wasn't the point. But at this stage, don't you think it's more painful to stay divided? We're all we've got. I'm reaching out. Please don't slam the door again. The final page. Greater than I hope you'll reconsider. You're still my mother. And I'll always love you. No signature. Just that line. I'll always love you. Gloria folded the letter once, then again, then slid it into a file labeled in block print. Aftermath. No action. She closed the drawer, locked it. 2 hours later, she was in Matt's office again. The same chair, the same worn leather folder in her lap. He skimmed the form she handed him and raised an eyebrow. Executor change? He asked. You sure? Gloria nodded. Eileen remains primary, she said. But if anything happens to her, she tapped the line she'd filled in by hand. Successor, Lily Madsen. Matt gave a low whistle. Trust jumps a generation. That's bold. She's earned it. She's 20. She'll be 21 in 4 months. Matt nodded. Fair enough. She already has limited access for the Education Trust. This would make her successor in full. You realize that puts her in the line of fire if Tessa ever tries again. Gloria didn't flinch. Then, she'll have the same defense I do. Matt leaned back, folded his hands behind his head. Well, he said, now it's layered 3 ways. Witness-backed, digitally sealed, and generationally reinforced. He smiled. Uncrackable. Gloria returned the smile. That's the idea. Back at home, she found Eileen in the kitchen tying up garbage bags. Without looking up, Eileen said, she really thought 5 pages of half apologies would undo 5 years of damage. More like 30, Gloria replied. Still. Eileen straightened and tossed the bag by the back door. You didn't yell at her, didn't curse, Didn't even reply. Gloria lifted her tea mug. Didn't need to. Eileen crossed her arms, eyes twinkling. You made her cry, she said, not with rage, with consequences that made Gloria laugh, quiet but genuine, like a breeze over a wound finally scabbed. Then she whispered, I know. That night, Gloria stood in the doorway of the spare room. It had once been Tessa's, then a storage space, then empty. Now it was clean, just a narrow bed, a bookshelf, and a desk with a fresh journal waiting on it. She closed the door softly, turned out the hallway light. Back at her own desk, she opened her journal. May 29th, 9:11 p.m. There are two kinds of apologies, the ones that repair, and the ones that beg for your silence. She sent the second. And I didn't send anything back. She dotted the period slowly. As she closed the cover, her phone buzzed. A new voicemail from a new number. She didn't check it. She just reached over and unplugged the landline, then turned off the light, and went to bed. It wasn't rage that moved Gloria to act that morning. It was boredom. She had been sipping tea in the sunroom, the kind with lemon and no sugar, when Eileen walked in with her phone held out at arm's length like it smelled bad. Have you seen this? She asked. Gloria didn't need to ask what this meant. Not anymore. The photo was old, from a family picnic 6 years ago. Gloria in profile, holding a paper plate. Tessa had cropped herself out, intentionally, surgically, and added a caption beneath. Greater than some memories are too heavy to carry alone. Mothers are complicated, still healing. It had already been shared 23 times. The comments were split between sympathy and cynicism. Someone had even written, "This your mom? I thought you said she was unstable." That's what did it. Not the photo, not the caption. The lie behind the lie. Gloria reached for her laptop. By noon, the takedown request had been filed through the platform's intellectual property portal. Unauthorized image, misleading context, breach of likeness rights. She uploaded the original version, the full photo with everyone visible, including the cousin who'd taken it, and attached a scanned affidavit Matt had prepared weeks ago. Greater than all images involving the undersigned are the intellectual property of Gloria A. Madsen, unless explicitly released. She clicked submit, then exhaled. No fury, no panic, just protocol. By 3:15 p.m., Ray, the junior associate on Matt's team, sent an email with the subject line, Second Formal Kwandi, Tessa Madsen. The tone was sharper this time, less polite. Legal terms in bold. Cease, desist, refrain, permanent, actionable, attached, time-stamped screenshots. A note. Greater than, we recommend no response from Ms. Madsen unless court-ordered. This establishes escalation pattern for any future defamation claims. She printed it, filed it, then deleted the email. One less thing in the inbox. At 5:47 p.m., Facebook sent its reply. We've reviewed the report and removed the content for violating privacy and image use policy. The user's account has been flagged for monitored activity. Thank you. Gloria stared at the screen for a long time. Then, without blinking, she navigated to her own photo archive, found the folder marked Family, Mixed. She hovered over a picture of Tessa, age 11, holding a plastic trophy with a grin too wide to last. For a second, she hesitated, then clicked delete. The screen flashed. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this item? She clicked yes. No drama, no grief, just digital dust. She scrolled down, found a photo of Maya from the university archives. Thick glasses, open book, a sarcastic smirk, half captured mid-snort. She moved it to a folder titled True. That night, Gloria sat at her desk and opened her journal one last time. May 30th, 8:58 p.m. I kept the wrong images too long, but I know what's real now, not what smiled for the camera. What stayed when the camera was off. It's done, she wrote the last period carefully, closed the cover, tied the ribbon, then placed it on the shelf between two novels, fiction that felt less fictional now than what she used to call love. She didn't need to open the journal again. The story had finished writing itself. Her phone rang. Matt. Just got the last confirmations, he said. The platform wiped her post. Our final affidavits logged. No appeals, no bounce backs. You're officially, formally, and completely closed. Gloria let the words land in silence, then finally said, Good. Matt chuckled softly on the other end. You want me to file this last letter away? No, she said. Let it float. She ended the call, turned off her phone, and stood at the window as the first stars appeared. Outside, the garden waited. Inside, nothing screamed anymore. And in between, she stood whole. The folding chairs weren't matching. The cupcakes had melted slightly in the sun, and the Bluetooth speaker kept cutting out whenever someone walked too close. But it was perfect. Norma stood at the edge of the lake, paper plate in one hand, a sweating glass of lemonade in the other, and watched her life unfold like a patchwork quilt across the yard. Janice was stationed at the drink table, reapplying lipstick between rounds of heavy-pour sangria and sass. Becky, bless her, had wrangled 4 toddlers into a watermelon eating contest near the fire pit, their faces sticky and joy-soaked. Karen and Myra had teamed up on charcuterie duty, though half the table had already been overtaken by goldfish, half-eaten carrot sticks, and glittery macaroni art that had definitely not been part of the original plan. And in the middle of it all, running barefoot across the grass in plastic tiaras and Super Mario shirts, were the kids. Norma's kids. Not by blood, but by love. She closed her eyes and let the sound of them carry her. Laughter, music, little sneakers on packed dirt, a harmonica someone had absolutely not been authorized to play. When she opened her eyes, Claire was standing in front of her. Wow, Claire said, holding out a plastic fork. This place is loud. It's beautiful, isn't it? Norma replied. Claire didn't answer right away, just looked at her, really looked. You did this, she said. You built something after the fire. Norma smiled softly. Well, the ashes were warm. I figured I might as well plant something in them, Claire grinned. Then reached into her bag and pulled out a black gift box. No candles this year, she said, offering it. Just this. Norma set down her plate and opened the box slowly. Inside was a simple wooden frame, and in it, the Callahan Literacy Grant awarded to Norma Callahan for transforming silence into story and story into sanctuary. Norma didn't speak. Her throat tightened. The breeze off the lake tugged at her cardigan like a whisper. It's real, Claire said. The board approved it last week. We'll fund 5 local programs a year. And this, she gestured at the reading circle, the kids, the paper lanterns strung between the trees. This becomes the model. Norma held the frame close to her chest, not protectively, but reverently, like it was something she'd borrowed from a future she never thought she'd live to see. Behind them, the kids burst into a round of shrieking laughter as Becky tripped into the sprinkler. Someone yelled, "Oh my God, Becky's wearing white!" And everyone cracked up like thunder on a clear day. Norma laughed too, loud and real. Claire leaned in. You okay? Norma nodded. I'm more than okay. She scanned the yard again, caught Janice's eye. They exchanged a look, part pride, part relief, part you didn't think we'd make it here either, did you? Then Claire added, softer now. Any word from Jason? Norma's smile faded, but gently. He texted me a photo of Benjamin last week, she said. Finger painting. Happy Claire studied her. And Melissa? She hasn't said a word. Norma set the frame down carefully on the porch railing. But I don't need one. Claire nodded slowly. And the others? From the flash drive. Norma exhaled. I'm still talking to them. Some are scared. Some are furious. But they're not alone anymore. Claire gave her a squeeze on the arm. Neither are you. They stood like that for a moment. Two women in their 60s, wind-blown and full-hearted, watching a world neither of them had expected to bloom. The sun was sinking lower now, casting the lake in bronze. Norma walked back toward the picnic table, the grass soft under her feet. Someone called out, "Speech!" She laughed, holding up her hands. "Not tonight. I've said enough for one lifetime." But she stepped onto the porch anyway, the wood warm from the sun, and let herself take it in. Every mismatched tablecloth, every crooked banner, every bubble drifting skyward like it had somewhere important to be. She cleared her throat. "I turned 78 this year," she said, "on the actual day no one called. No one texted. My son and his wife ghosted me." The crowd quieted. She smiled. "So I rewrote the guest list." She looked out at all of them, the women who showed up, the children who trusted her stories, the friends who came early to help and stayed late to clean. "For the rest of my life," she finished. Applause rose up, not polite, not obligatory, fierce, honest. And over the sound of clapping and a harmonica stubbornly hitting the wrong key, a new sound threaded through the chaos, Norma's ringtone. She walked back to the porch. Unknown number. Again. She picked it up. This time, a man's voice. Shaky, careful, like he wasn't sure if the world still remembered him. "Is this Norma Callahan? I think I might be Benjamin's brother."